Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. And today we're looking at the community stream. So we just had the community stream. This is going to be a little bit of a longer video because it was a big community stream. There was a lot to talk about. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to go through the community stream. And then at the end I am going to do my poll planning guide for basically the month of May. And just talk about what I'm personally going to pull and what I would recommend you guys pull this month, right? So first, we have some quality of life adjustments. So they did do a couple of like global exclusive things in here in terms of like quality of life things, which I think are really cool, right? So we got a notification earlier that basically the daily token stuff was going away with the daily hunts, right? Well, what it is they're just revamping it essentially, and it's probably going to, in the end, be better for us anyways. So instead of just getting the daily hunt tokens, and you have that little shop that you buy in, what they're going to do is they're going to combine the daily hunts with other daily things that you can do, like a login bonus and other daily missions. And they're going to come out with a new daily token and a new shop that has way better stuff in it. I like this a lot better because it's really updated. So you can see here in the shop, we can get BT tokens, Lufenia guard tokens, we can get 4 stones, enhancement points, which I know is really hype for a lot of like newer players out there, or players that don't get Mog Pass. Like, you guys will be eating that up. EX power tokens, which are really good, and power stones, right? Now, I'm a little curious as to how many daily tokens we'll get. You do get more tokens if you have a premium Mog Pass, so it is going to be another way to promote players to get that. Depending on how much it is, it might encourage me to keep getting the premium Mog Pass, because I mean, there's some really good stuff in here, right? It depends on what the rates are and how many you get. But I know under the old system, to get like an EX power token, it took a long time. Like darn near a month or something to get an EX power token. So, and that's one of the cheaper things in the new shop. So we'll see how accessible this stuff is. We can't really judge it until we know like how much we actually get per day. But I think in the end it's going to be good just because there's way better stuff in there, right? Then the other thing is just a total reward screen. So it's not like adding anything to the game. It's just saying that if you go into a quest, there's going to be like a little button you can click on, and it'll just tell you like what all the rewards are you can earn from that quest. And it's just a way, like a checklist, so you can make sure you got everything done, right? So pretty cool there. So then we have Dimensions and Transcendence tier 14. Here we've got Kurasame, BT, and FR, and he'll have Echo as well. And then we will have Reigns. And Reigns is also getting FR boards, so that's really good. So we got 2 new Echo characters coming here. Dimensions and Transcendence. There's going to be a new quest type called Single Challenge. So you earn points by clearing separate solo quests, get rewards by reaching point tiers. Rewards and point tiers vary from quest to quest. More points with boosted characters and with a Mog Pass. So there's basically going to be new challenge quests where you earn points, and you get points based on what you do. So that'll be interesting to see. So I'll be happy to check that out. I'm always up for more rewards and more quests. Then after that, starting on April 27th, we have basically Aerith is dropping. So Act 4, Chapter 1. Aerith is someone we've been talking about for a while. She was in my last month's poll plan video because I knew she was going to be like right at the end of the month, or I talked about her in my BT token guide. I knew she was either going to be at the end of April or beginning of May. Turns out she is the end of April, so April 27th. Aerith, and then Zack. So this is going to be really hyped because I know Zack is really hyped for a lot of people as well. And Zack and Aerith are both getting FR boards, right, and reworks. So these are both going to be really, really good hype characters to pick up. I'll talk about them at the end when I do my poll planning video. There will be a co-op Shinryu on this one. So some of you liked it, some of you maybe didn't like it. I actually like Shinryu co-op. The reason why is if you're frustrated about playing with other players, what I do is just do it once on your own, because you can do it without bringing friends. You just go in and host one, but then just jump in when nobody else is in there. And then you can just use skip tickets. And on Shinryu with a triple book, skip tickets go hard. So I do not mind Shinryu at all, because in the end I don't have to play with other people if I don't want to, right? Now this is the thing I'm probably the most excited for. The Faire campaign with a Dare to Defy. So that's very, very awesome that we've got that here. 12 free first multi draws. So right now we're currently in a campaign where we're getting free first multis, and it's just going to roll right into another one. This game is so generous, right? Where they're trying to make the money is they're trying to get you to buy Mog Pass. You can see there's new things in here, like getting more of those daily tokens. Like, they are pushing Mog Pass. That's how they want to make the money. They basically want this game to be like a monthly subscription service, and then they'll give you all the resources to pull all the characters you want. And I actually like this model. I think it's very good. I like that I can pretty much pull for everything I want and get all these characters, right? So yeah, we'll have chocobo panel missions. There will be Psycho Crest rewards. Triple effect items will be on sale, so pick those up if you need them. Dare to Defy 3. So those of you unfamiliar with this, basically the way it works is every Shinryu that comes out will have a Dare to Defy version of the same fight. The Dare to Defy ones typically are toned down a little bit. It might be the HP is a little bit less or like one less mechanic, but they typically are toned down a little bit. And it is lockout content, which is my favorite type of content, because for a player like me with a huge roster of characters, I've got characters that just sit on my bench because I always just want to use what I think is going to get the quest done the easiest. This challenges me more to go in with other team comps and other characters I haven't used in a while, and it really tests my box. So I really like this. Now, they did already make an improvement on this from Dare to Defy 2, which I was calling for them to do. So the big thing that they did was they said, hey, if you clear the Dare to Defy quest, we'll auto-clear the Shinryu quest. Well, the two problems with that is, one, they weren't very clear that you had to have the other quest unlocked for it to work. So the first time I did it, I went into Dare to Defy right away, because of course I'm doing videos and stuff, and Dare to Defy is just open. I don't have to clear any content to get to the Shinryu. So I just jump into Dare to Defy, get it done. Well, if the other Shinryu isn't unlocked, it doesn't clear. Okay, so at least this time they state that so that you know that and you understand that. And then the other thing I complained about was then on the next Dare to Defy 2, like on the second stage of it, I'm like, okay, I'll go unlock the other Shinryu first and then I'll do Dare to Defy and it should clear. Well, yep, it worked, it cleared, but then you didn't get the mission for using the boosted character, even though I used the boosted character on the Dare to Defy. Well, you can see here, they are rectifying that. So now, if you complete Dare to Defy and you have the boosted character and no friend support, you will get credit for clearing the other one and you'll get the missions. So this now is actually what I want. I literally only have to do it one time now if I want to, and I'll get both done. So I really like that. And there will be high power stones and 4 stones as rewards, which is very good, right? And then they're also going to give you a new status badge, which is this little tail. Dare to Defy 2 gave out like a bat wing or a dragon wing. This one's going to give out a tail. Honestly, like, I want to show that stuff off for getting it, but dude, my Final Fantasy 6 badge is probably staying for life at this point. I got my Final Fantasy 6. We're going to stick with that. All right, and then Act 4. This is at the beginning of May 2nd. Act 4, Chapter 1, Part 2. Dining Dialogue. So yeah, we've got Quina. Quina is another character people are pretty hyped about. I'll talk about them in a little bit here. So we're getting that. That's a BTFR character. We've got Camlinot coming back. I do not think Cam's getting boards, unless they forgot to mention it here. But pretty much any time that a character gets boards, they put a little thing and note it. Now, I feel like Cam should be getting boards because he's pretty outdated at this point and he needs it, but I don't think he is, because Kane's another character that in terms of his FR, he really needed it, and he didn't get it on his last one. So Cam might just be a straight rerun here, because I don't see anything on here saying that he's getting a rework. So yeah, I would assume not, right? Okay, then we got a new weapon gloss there. We've got the single challenge there. So the single challenge, I think, is that new thing they were talking about where you can earn rewards based on points. So very cool. Then we have Paine, BT, and FR coming on May 8th. Titus will be coming back. And you see right here, it says rework an FR board for Paine, but does not say anything for Titus. So Titus, I don't think, is getting FR boards here or a rework. This is a straight Titus rerun. And then, yeah, that's basically a normal token challenge, all that stuff. Next slide, we got Balthier BT and then Lon and Rain FR, right? And then what we have here is a rework and FR boards for Balthier and Lon and Rain. So they specified here. So both of these characters are getting Echo, which is pretty cool. We have a 6 warrior quest coming, which is awesome. I think those are a lot of fun. And then a new single challenge for that as well with some rewards. So we'll definitely take that. Then we have Core's Lost Chapter dropping. And then Core is getting a rework and FR board. It's kind of crazy because Core still seems ridiculously good to me. And he's getting Echo here. So yeah, Core's going to be crazy. And then Noctis getting FR boards. I think that's a nice bump for him. He definitely needs that. So we'll have the Lost Chapter single token challenge with another co-op Shinryu. We'll definitely take that. So there we got Core Noctis. And then the last one they announced was May 26th. And we've got Edgar BTFR, and then this is a Luna Freya straight rerun. She is not getting Echo here. You can see reworking FR boards only for Edgar. And Luna Freya is still good enough. Like, she doesn't need Echo, but it'd be nice if she had it, right? And this is World of Illusion Spiritus Shiva, so we're going to upgrade our Shiva up to level 50, which is very good. And that's basically where we ended off, right? So overall, the characters and the banners were all as expected, which I assumed would be, right? But the one thing I was surprised about was Dare to Defy and then getting that daily token stuff. I think is really cool, right? So now let's just roll into like my poll planning video, what I am going to be polling for during the month of May. So we'll start with Reigns and Kurasami. Reigns here, and let me double check here. Yeah, Reigns. Oh, Reigns is getting FR boards here. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but Reigns is getting FR boards. So that'll be good for Reigns getting Echo. Now, I'm not pulling for Reigns because I already have him. In Kurasami, I think I am going to skip him. He's just a character I never... He's one of those characters that he's just so locked to like how good his call is, but he can be good in the party. And even with this last rework, he was still very good. Kurasame's basically, he does like ice follow-ups. His BT gives him a really awesome freeze where like during the BT effect, like the enemies just stay frozen. Like they can't Brave Gain. So he is very good. Like it's a very good BT effect. Kurasami, I think, falls into one of those characters where if you like him and you go for him and play him, he's going to be awesome, but he's not like a must pull for every player, right? So I'm going to say this is probably a skip for me and probably a skip for most players here. But once again, if you like these guys and you build them up, and Reigns is a really good damage dealer. I just showcased him doing pretty dang competitive damage on that Squall Shinryu fight. I had him doing 50 mil shots. So like Reigns can put in the work. And plus he's getting like an upgrade here, right? So he's going to be even better. The one thing to keep in mind with Reigns is that he can get locked out of fights. And there are plenty of bosses that cannot be launched. If bosses cannot be launched, Reigns is basically useless. So that's the one reason that even though Reigns has very good, insane single target damage, I still don't know that I would recommend players jump in, especially with what other things are coming, right? So I would say this is probably a no for me and a no for most players. Then we've got Aerith. Aerith, I'm going to say, is probably like either the top pull this month or the second top. I think Aerith will compete with another character, but I think Aerith would be my #1 choice. The big thing with Aerith is she is very good with Brave Gaining, healing. Her BT gives her like a really cool like revive mechanic in it. I think she even gets like some, well, her counter is like, she does like a counter revive, like even if she dies. And then the big thing with Aerith though, is she's going to have FR Echo. And Echo is going to be insane on her because I believe she's going to be our first Echo where the FR is a non-damaging attack. And so what that means is her Echo is instant turn rate, and the base gain on an Echo is 20% to the HP gauge. So if you do a normal Echo attack, 20% plus whatever you fulfilled on the FR condition. Well, with Aerith being a non-damaging attack, it actually has a base rate of 80%. So no matter how well she meets the Echo's requirement, it's going to do 80%. Plus whatever you get. So I think this thing can cap at like, you can get like 150% or something ridiculous on one button press, which is insane. And it's instant turn rate, so she can just spam them back to back. So you can be spitting out like 1 to 300%, like just insane amounts of numbers. Like back to back like that, which is really, really crazy. Or sorry, it would be anywhere from like 160 to like 300% or some insane number if you combine the two turns. She can spam them back to back and will not lower the force gauge count. So I think that's going to be really like a lot of her value. And then her auras and like her support is just top tier. So I think Aerith is going to end up being my new de facto like #1 support character I run. I think at this point, this is what will like completely phase Penelo out for me. Because Penelo now without Echo, her damage is still really good. But as we saw in the Squall fight, like some of these fights you need like unga bunga, like really, really crazy damage. So this is the point why I'm finally going to be dropping off from Penelo. I think it's because of Aerith. She's going to be crazy, right? Zac is also very good. Zac, I'll have to decide on. I will pull for Zac because he's a character I already have his BT, so I can very easily just ticket the FR. And I might even get Zac FR just while I'm going for Aerith, right? So Zac for sure I'm pulling because he's just going to come with me for free on Aerith's banner. If you don't have Zac at all, I would say like he is a good tank to pull for. But what I would say is if you're lacking a tank, you should just get Rubicante. Like, and Rubicante's out right now. I would just grab him. So I don't know, like if you don't have Zac, I don't know that I would recommend you go in on his banner and try to like get his BT and stuff. His BT is good. It basically has the Oron thing where he becomes like a zombie and can't die. But the one flaw I'd say Zach has had as a tank, he tanks really, really well, but he doesn't do counters. And so it's like, would I rather use Zach or would I rather use Rubicante, who's very tanky, can't die, but also counters, right? So I would say if you want that premium tank, get Rubicante. Now, we do have Dare to Defy coming, as we saw, so you will need probably multiple tanks. So if you want to just build up your tank box, sure, pick up Zach. But I would say the big thing to go for here is I am going to pull, and I recommend all players pull for Aerith. That's going to be my #1 pull of the month. And then next one here, we got Quina. Now, I'd say Quina is the other character that is going to be competing with Aerith. I really think Quina is going to be a top-tier pull as well. Quina, if you're not familiar with what Quina does have some Unbreak in their kit, which is pretty cool. But the big thing with Quina is really about, like, Brave Cap gain, like, Brave Overflow, Brave Cap, and Brave gains. Like, they're really, like, their kit revolves a lot around, like, doing stuff with Brave. And making your Brave damage, like, insane. Like, your Brave Cap and your Brave damage crazy. Quina also can do rainbow numbers, which, with all of the Brave Cap gains that she has, or the Overflow, it makes it insane, like, the amount of damage you do. And then, Quina also has traps. So the traps are popping off. They can work good with Rubicante, like, in tandem, right? And then the other thing is the BT makes it so your HP attacks, like, deal extra damage or scale based on your max Brave Cap. So Quina is going to, like, make the Brave Cap humongous, make your HP damage humongous because your Brave Cap is humongous, while doing traps, right? While doing rebreak. Just all this crazy stuff. So Quina, I think, is going to be a really, really nice pickup. A really, really good character to have. Camlanot, I think, is a throwaway. I think even if Cam does get Echo, once again, I don't think he is. I think this is a literal rerun. Cam is kind of a throwaway here, so I wouldn't worry about Cam. But Quina, that's going to be, like, probably my #2 top pick this month that y'all should pull for. I will be pulling. Paine, BTFR, and then Tidus. Now, Tidus here is not getting boards. Tidus is still, like, a very good damage dealer, but I don't know that I would go crazy for Tidus right now, just because if you're going for a main damage dealer, you probably want an Echo character, right? But Tidus can still do really good things, really good damage. Paine, I've always found to be one of the more fun and interesting characters in the game. If you're not familiar with Paine, Paine basically has basically a debuffer role or a buffing role, depending on where she is in the party. And if you put her in the middle, she does both. She just does them, like, half as well. But if you commit to one side, like whether it's buffing or debuffing, she's, like, the best at those things in the game. Like, her debuffs are super top tier, and her buffs and auras are super top tier. And then her BT plays on that, where, like, the BT does different things depending on how many characters are to the left or right of you. One of them could be, like, a really insane poison, or you could do, like, really good buffs. So Paine is just a very fun, flexible character. So, I probably will. It depends on my resources. So Paine, for me, I'm going to say it's not, like, a must get. And for me personally, if I have the resources to do it, I'm going to pull Paine because I like her and I think she's very cool. Okay? For you, the average player, I would say same situation. If you're looking to just maximize your resources and only get top meta, you probably would skip Paine. But I think a player with, like, a box with not a ton of characters can get a lot of use out of Paine, because Paine can fill multiple roles and do them very well. Normally, these characters that do multiple roles, they don't do them very well because they're doing them all at the same time. But Paine, you could go into a certain fight and be like, oh, I need a good debuffer here and I don't have one. She could be your main debuffer. You could go into another fight, maybe, oh, I've got a good debuffer here, but I'll use her as my main support, give her a lot of buffs. She can be really good. So I would say Paine is definitely, like, the fun pull of the month. Like, she's very cool. You can get a lot done with Paine. I think she's going to be a nice pickup for some of you. But if I make my recommendation, I'm only going to recommend top tier meta, and it's going to be Quina or Aerith this month, right? And then we've got Balthier and Lan and Rain. I've talked about Lan and Rain before, and they are both getting FR boards. Lan and Rain, I'm just never a fan of. Like, their rework, yes, is going to make them hit crazy hard. Their damage is going to be really good here, you guys. The thing I've always disliked about them, though, is they're relegated to AoE fights only. Now, that being said, most of the fights in the game are AoE, like at least 2 targets. As long as you have at least 2 targets, they're going to be good. 3 target fights, they are like gods. If you get a 3 target fight, they are absolute ridiculous AoE gods. I just don't like the restriction of, if you wanted to bring them to single target, they're just not good at all. And they do carry a lot of elements. So if an element gets locked out, that can also be an issue. So they're a character that they're going to do a lot of damage if you invest in them and you like them and want to do that. But me personally, I am not going to go for them. I'm not going to recommend them. Balthier is another really good solid character. He's a good buffer, debuffer type character. So he can cleanse your own, and he's a buff manager, right? I've talked about him like this before. He's a buff and debuff manager. So he can help manage the debuffs that you have, and he can help manage the buffs that the enemies have and kind of keep things clear for you. And then he does have pretty good auras. When he got, back when he got his global first for year 3, he did pick up some good auras. So he is a nice little aura bot while doing a lot of buff debuff stuff. But for me, he's one of those like slot 3 utility characters. Like if you're going to bring him, that's really his role, is kind of utility. So if you want a character that can fill that, once again, I think it's going to depend on your box. But for me, he's going to be a skip. With what else is here this month, I would say this would be probably one of the more low tier banners of the month. And then we've got Core and Noctis. So I'm just going to straight up say this right now. Core is still good right now, and they're giving this man a rework and echo. So I would say Core would be another top pick. I would recommend every player. I think any player that's watched my channel during a time when Core hasn't been available has always been like, I always get a comment like, when is Core coming back? I wish I had Core. He's one of those characters that just ages like, he ages like a fine wine. Like he's like Gladio, where like the guy is never not viable. He can go like months, maybe even a full year without a rework, and he's still usable because of how good he is. So if you're not familiar with Core, he is probably like the king of follow-ups. He is like the best follow-up character in the game. What he does is he'll basically tag and like link to a character, and then that linked character, anytime they attack, Core will follow up right before they attack. Core himself will follow up before his own attacks. And this buff is called Oath of Absolute Defense, which does a couple of really nice things. One, it enables the follow-ups. But two, it makes it so that that character can't be broken, and it makes them tanky. So it helps you defensively. I think it's even got HP damage reduction in there. So it's very, very good. Now, what's cool about it is Core's getting a BT here. And the BT's not the craziest, but the auras are good. Like, I'll be one to admit that, like, I talked about Warrior of Light and how his BT is so not important to his kit, and it is, right? Like, I stay by that, but I notice a huge difference just in the overall party output when his BT auras are up. So even if a BT doesn't have like a crazy special effect, the auras do matter. So just know that to use Core, you won't need his BT, but if you've got it, the auras are going to be big. And then the other special effect that it has is Oath of Absolute Defense can only be on one other character at a time. If you put it on another character, it will remove it. Well, there's always a workaround you could do where, like, if you put Oath of Absolute Defense on a character, swap them for a friend unit, put Oath on the other character, the one that is kind of on the bench won't get it removed, and they'll come back and you'll have all three. So we've had a way to achieve this, but it's kind of through like a gimmick, right? But the BT basically says we are just going to allow you to do it. So when Core's BT effect is up, using Oath of Absolute Defense on another character does not remove it from the other one. So that is very good. It makes it just more accessible and easy to do that trick. And it is quite powerful having a full team of 3, because the other thing with Oath is anytime that unit is targeted for an attack, he will also follow up. And that includes all attacks. So if all 3 of them have it on, because Core gives it to himself with his EX, if all 3 of them have it on and an enemy does an all attack, that is 3 follow-ups from Core before the enemy even swings. So you can imagine what Core will do. Core will do insane things with Rubicante. We'll just say that right now. Core and I think that's going to be my first showcase when Core comes out, will be Core with Rubicante when he gets this upgrade. It's going to be wild. So I think Core is actually a top tier, high recommended pick. Not just for like his usefulness in the game right now, but he's going to have longevity. He's a very good use of your resources. Noctis, I think Noctis here, getting a rework and FR board is nice, and Noctis I think could serve as your main damage dealer. Noctis's big thing is he has a thing where you can like warp turns and like give it to the party where they can just have a bunch of turns in a row before the enemy. It's great for spamming a bunch of turns. So if you like that, you can look at my character guide, by the way. All of these characters other than Quina, I already have some existing character guide on, so their kits don't change a ton. they just get, like, if it's a new BT, like, they'll get whatever that gives and then whatever the FR gives. But the core of what the characters do, for the most part, on all these remain the same. So if you want more details on any of these characters, feel free to check out my character guide on any of them. Just type in Joe Wags and then the name of a character, and it will pop up. I've tested it myself. I'm getting popular enough now where my videos will start to show up pretty easily when you go into YouTube, which is really awesome. But yes, core, I would say yes, that's a pull for me, and it's a pull for you. And then Edgar and Luna Freya. Edgar is going to fall into like the Mog category for me, where like I love Final Fantasy VI. I probably shouldn't pull for him. If my resources allow it, though, I probably will. So, but he's not a character I would recommend. Luna Freya is still a really nice pickup. I am going to admit, though, she has fallen off for me a little bit just because her quick prayer isn't as valuable as it used to be. Because the big thing with quick prayers was you would have your main FR character and you'd be able to have time to set up their BT effects and stuff and go into their burst phase. Well, Shinryu, or the Force era, with Echo, the Echo era kind of says differently, where I don't want to rush and go right into my burst phase. I actually want to let my other allies take turns and use their echoes, right? That being said, Luna Freya's auras are still crazy. Heavy Prayer is still insane. So Luna Freya is an amazing character. I actually would, even not being Echo, I think Luna Freya is a character all players should have, to be honest, even as a rerun character. I think if you guys can swing it, I wouldn't make her highest priority. Like, definitely prioritize Aerith first. But especially with lockout content, you guys need multiple support characters. I would say if your resources can swing it, you should try to get Luna Freya. And you do not need to fret about her BTFR. She's a character you can, on a budget, get LD only, and she's going to serve you pretty well. Her BT will definitely be useful if you can pick it up. The FR you probably won't even use, to be honest, because it's not Echo, and her numbers aren't going to compare to others. So you really don't even need the FR. So like I said, if you want to go in with tickets and just get her up to LD, you're probably good to go. But if you happen to get her BT, her auras are really nice with the BT, I will say that. And it does extend her buffs by 1 turn, which is really good, right? But Edgar, I'd say, is probably a skip for everybody. But Luna Freya, I think, could be a nice pickup. So anyways, guys, there you go. There's the community stream reaction. Let me know what you guys all think. Let me know who you're going to pull for this month. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.